pay respect. Of course, the same for Honorable Babadiri. Margaret Babadiri also was granted an official burial. And today, again on a sad note, today morning, Honorable colleagues, Honorable Pauline Chaka, woman MP Diantonde, has lost her mother, Mrs. Leonarda Chaka. You remember it's just a few weeks ago when she lost her father. It's been a double tragedy. I happened to go to her home around 2 or 3 months ago to see her sick parents. And the two really were extremely close. So when the father died, the mother kept saying, "Release me, I also go to find my beloved." I don't know how many of us would qualify for that. The day we die and our spouses are saying, "I want to follow," and not say, So I managed to go to the hospital, Mengo, early morning. I checked on her at Mengo Hospital early morning, and she was thankful for the prayers and support honorable colleagues you've always given her. There will be a vigil at her home in Kira today, starting at 6:30 p.m. and burial will be Thursday, 23rd January at Kachenche, Chiruhura district. I request that we observe a minute of silence for our foreign comrades.
May their souls rest in eternal peace.
Honorable colleagues, we've started a political year, a year of campaigns. And yet our mandate still runs. We still have statutory obligations. We have obligations to our constituents. So this is a year where we wish you all the best, because our prayer is to see each one of us back. That's what we pray for. Though I've had situations, I've had a few, and so is standing against me, you're the one funding. It will be coming. So, but I request that we maintain cohesion. I request that when we go, it's our policy here. It's an unwritten policy that when you go to a colleague's constituency, you support that colleague. It's an unwritten policy. And then you leave it to the voters. If you can't support, don't talk about a colleague. Just leave it at that. But for harmony purposes, because after when we come here, we are family. So, we are going to design our program in such a way as the leadership of the House that we give you time to be able to engage the constituencies. While at the same time, you're able to do your work. A very good example, when we have, like in the budgeting period, we shall be giving you enough time to handle under committees, but then we give you a break, shall be giving you intermittent breaks so that you're able to go back and engage your constituents. Otherwise, you might be here when they are finishing you on ground, and people want to remember that. But we shall ensure that we try to accommodate most of these issues without us missing our critical function that we are supposed to be doing here. Well, there is a comment I wanted to make when we are receiving the Auditor General's report, but I better say it now. Honorable colleagues, I received the Auditor General's report last week. And what I'm happy with is that the meeting we had with the Auditor General has now helped us and widened the scope of what we can cover when we are interrogating the report. We agreed together with the few chairpersons who managed to join me in a meeting with the auditor. Won't that everywhere, and I hope this time the scope of the accountability committees will be much wider and more detailed, so that we don't just look at mischarge and all that, but we also go especially on value for money. If you said you did 1 kilometer per kilometer lane at 1 billion in Masaka, how come in the neighboring district of Diantonde is doing it? If you're charging 1 billion, how come they are doing it at 500 million? Same landscape, same conditions, but this side you're not getting value, this side you're getting value. So accountability committees, I hope you're going to now squeeze in much deeper. But what was worrying, honorable colleagues, only 31% of the recommendations, according to the Auditor General, he says only 31% of the recommendations from Parliament when we were adopting the report were fully implemented in the last financial year. 35% were partially implemented, and 34% were not implemented at all. Now this brings us to how we handle the issue of the Treasury Memoranda, which we had a discussion around here and agreed. The Treasury Memoranda which was attached, I will request chairpersons of sector committees, when you're processing ministerial policy statements and the budget, please let the accounting officers explain why they did not implement recommendations of the accounting of the Auditor General. Otherwise, these are recommendations from government official who is supposed to be looking at these books. Why should we add you money when you fail to address the issues of accountability which were found in? So now at sector committee level is where we can use our power to bite and squeeze their...
Rightly so, because the election is a process. It's not an event, as some people like to think of it, the day of casting the ballot. It's a process which happens beginning with the update of the voters register, all the way to all the other activities, nominations, campaigns, etc., and then eventually voting. Honourable Speaker, yesterday, update of the voters register commenced, but with numerous challenges with this very critical exercise, because this is an exercise that is meant to see new voters coming on board, people trying to be sure their details are on the voters register, those that want to make transfers, and so on and so forth. In many places, and I'm sure some colleagues here can attest, many places the process did not commence yesterday. And we are trying to understand why. Did this just fall on the Electoral Commission and they woke up and realized they need to start this process? Their officials were not in many places, including my constituency, many parts of my constituency, which is just a few kilometers from Kampala. I'm now thinking about colleagues who come from far-flung places. Honourable Speaker, there has not been adequate awareness about this process by the Electoral Commission. Yesterday, I was dumbfounded to watch on the news a number of LC1 chairpersons, LC2 parish chairpersons, who did not know about this exercise. And yet the Electoral Commission is meant to do this in tandem with these local officials. In a couple of places, you find they have one computer per sub-county. And many of these computers are even faulty. They're not working as should be. Honourable Speaker, I like to think this is a very critical part of the election process. Because like I've said, the election is a process. Would like government to help us understand, are they taking this process seriously? Concern that I do have, Honourable Speaker, the process has been made extremely cumbersome, especially for the new voters. They have to get recommendation from GISO, DISO, HISO, FISO, I don't know what. It would make sense for the LC1 chairpersons. That's okay, that's understandable. They need to know the people in their areas and so on. But why all these layers? Somebody has got a national ID. They are known by their LC1 chairpersons. Why do they have to go and look for a GISO, then look for a DISO? They'll go to their home or their office, the place is locked, and all of this making the process problematic. Honourable Speaker, I would like government to address these issues and to help us understand. Can the process be made a little bit longer and better awareness. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, honorable colleagues, today I received 6 members. The first was Honorable Naruima Esther. So it was one of the matters I had put here to be considered under matters of national importance. 6 members on that same question. Attorney General, come respond, and then I see how best I can guide on this critical question.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I appreciate the question as raised, but the question is quite wide and I do not want to answer it off head. I'm requesting that you give me time. I liaise with the Electoral Commission so that I can formally answer that question, Parliament.
Thank you. So, honorable colleagues, if a colleague says he doesn't have a satisfactory answer, okay, you want him to do what? You want to give you a half-baked answer? So, but, please, honorable colleagues, let us have a statement from government tomorrow. Is it late, Attorney General?
Right Honourable, I need to get in touch with the Electoral Commission so that I can get a
tomorrow
response.
Parliament starts at 2.
But Right Honourable Speaker.
Yes, let's listen to the Attorney General. Exercises. Parliament is a big platform on which you gain prime time, wide coverage. So when you bring a statement here, we give you free coverage and you inform the nation. You're addressing the nation when you're here. So I would do, since the Attorney, no.
I'm requesting for Thursday, Right Honourable.
Honourable colleagues, on Thursday at 2 p.m. we shall receive a statement from the Attorney General on the same, listen, and I will allow a debate of that statement for 1 hour. Okay? So that all your issues are covered. And Honourable Minister, Honourable Attorney General, I'm sure with that statement and even technical officers coming to support you, you'll be able to answer all the questions. Okay? Thank you. On my communication, Honourable Pendi.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I really want to appreciate the report of the Auditor General, as mentioned by you, that now covers the financial and also value for money audit. However, Right Honourable Speaker, I have an issue. Currently, the sectoral committees are sitting, and therefore the standing committee's business has been suspended. Formally, the Speaker communicated and said the standing committees should not meet. My challenge, Right Honourable Speaker, is that we will start considering these reports of the Auditor General when we are done with these budget framework papers and even the ministerial policy statements. And then you have just hardly 2 months. Right Honourable Speaker, I have raised this before. The Constitution says the Auditor General's reports will be considered by this Parliament, debated, and appropriate action taken. Now, you find that I have said this, it is wrong for us to adopt Auditor General's reports without scrutiny, because you have even mentioned it, that what is in the report is some requesting. The Constitution says we must consider them within 6 months. Now, if within 6 months, the committee is only given 2 months, 3 months to handle these reports, and you have about 400 or so entities, how can we really effectively handle these reports and conclude business? So, Right Honourable Speaker, it has been done before. In previous parliaments, you were here. I hope that as presiding officers, you will guide us and give us time to handle these reports.
Thank you. Now, honorable colleagues, one, indeed we needed you, all of you, to be in your sector committees handling the BFP. Okay? And I think you've more or less, committees have more or less concluded with the BFP. Otherwise, we would be having a situation where we don't even have space, sitting space where to meet, and even quorum, because you find we are in the budgeting process, but a member is running on accountability question, okay? And so we said, no, first concentrate on the BFP. You have concluded. Next week, either Thursday or next week, we shall conclude it. But now the
is to treat the Auditor General's report as raw material for committees to do work. In other jurisdictions, if you go to Kenya, and I have visited because I chaired an accountability committee before, the report of the Auditor General is adopted as it comes. And then committees request to do further investigation in specific areas. I want to ask you, Mr. Speaker, for Parliament to adopt a similar approach, so that you don't use the report of the Auditor General, a lot of work done by technical people, sometimes even hires private firms, and then you use it as raw material. In other countries, they just adopt and then request to do investigations in specific areas, and then they can do them forever. That's the information, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to give.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Colleagues, I don't want us to start a debate here. We usually improve on such a processes by having meetings with committees of chairpersons. And also we can discuss it in the business committee meeting in terms of strategy. We come up together with a strategy. That is acceptable. But most importantly, Honorable Sarah, the argument was, like Honorable Semuji has said, government will not start taking actions on the recommendations of the Auditor General before you adopt. So now, if you wait for 4 years, 3 years, 5 years, how will you process a Treasury memoranda, which is an action taken report? So now, I think it is operational. You can, out of a committee, make subcommittees. You share, and you say this side you get projects, this side you get these categories of MDAs and all that, and in the end you adopt as a committee. You come here, we debate. But that one we shall be calling a meeting so that we agree on a strategy that can help us work as a team. Yes, finally, Honorable Babiku.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. I would like to comment on one issue that you commented about, the issue of this year being a period of war, the non-expansion of a Jumani hospital and others. If we don't have these responses, whether in affirmative or not, it makes it very difficult for us to account to our people. So my prayer is, let government respond to the issues that members have raised so that we have a package to share with our people. Thank you so much.
On land compensation, I remember Attorney General were working out something. Do you have any update?
Thank you, Right Honorable. I appreciate the concern raised by my sister, Honorable Babiku. Right Honorable Speaker, originally the government committed itself to do compensation in 3 sub-regions, Acholi, Lango, and Teso. When the exercise started, there was pressure from other sub-regions. West Nile, Bugisu, Bukedi, Busoga, and parts of Ruenzori which were hit by the ADF. This matter was presented to Cabinet, and a decision was taken that we wait, we first see how the other areas are being compensated, because we would be overwhelmed and government may not be able to appropriately carry that burden. So the idea was that we first do substantial work on the 3 sub-regions, then we would seek guidance from cabinet and be directed.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues, you have power to empower yourselves through budgeting process and sector committees. When you are processing municipal policy statements, who has raided the microphone without my permission? Though he has not spoken.
I do not switch on, Right Honorable. Right Honorable, when we had a sitting in Gulu, we had a report from the Government Assurance and Implementation Committee on the compensation. That report was read and it was not adopted. We are waiting for that opportunity so that the Parliament will fully debate that report and we come up with a resolution. And in that report, the issues of West Nile, they are included.
Thank you.
The other parts of the country, they are waiting for our report and that resolution, Right Honorable Speaker.
Clerk, put it on order paper for tomorrow. We have it sorted. Honorable Angura, then Honorable Basarira.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, you've rightly said that we are processing the budget. We have started with the BFP. Very soon we shall go to the ministerial policy statement, and that is where we should be assertive. That is a very good statement. But remember, Right Honorable Speaker, now we are looking at the plans which have come through the BFP. When you look at the column of the unfunded priorities, which will still be translated into the ministerial policy statement, and finally the budget we shall pass, many of the needs that these constituents of yours here, the members here, are focusing on it to achieve as a way of benefit as they return, are in the unfunded priorities. And that will continue up to the...
Honorable Rule 8 does not allow me to allow such a debate on anticipation. Please, let's just... You can submit without referring to what is in the report of the BFP and all that.
I thank you very much. So I want to request, and the Chief Whip is here. The Minister of Finance is not here. I want to request that when we come to that conclusive situation of approving the figures that we shall supply here, let those figures be honored.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, honorable colleagues, we shall give you enough time to scrutinize the budget, okay? We shall give you enough time, you will scrutinize deeply. I had allowed Honorable Wasarira, then Honorable Nsababuturo.
That's from cabinet, and even us from other areas like Busoga, where Lakwena terrorized us, are not there. So, Right Honourable Speaker, as a matter of fact, the focus remains very limited to those areas, and from the budget framework paper of the Minister of Justice, that is very clear. That's the clarification, Right Honourable Speaker, I wanted to give.
Let's handle anything to do with RAND. We are discussing that issue tomorrow, okay? Honorable Wanika guided us very well. When we are debating the report, then you'll make the submissions. No, so is it on the same?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
Is it on the same?
From your communication, and it has become my common practice to remind the Minister of Education that you, as you said, you are going for campaigns. Our children should not stay behind. I'm getting numerous calls as a shadow minister from a number of schools. They are not getting capitation grant. Yet that time was starting on the 3rd. And this is a very big problem for our children. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, a number of schools are advertising getting senior 1 students when the period is not yet out. And the Minister of Education is comfortably seated listening. So how are these children joining senior 1 when the results for period are not yet out?
Thank you.
But above all, Mr. Speaker, let us see, help Minister of Education. This money is very little, and the teachers must be at school by now, preparing for the beginning of the term as private schools all our children are studying from. The biggest population of our children in Uganda are in UPE schools and USE. And Mr. Speaker, Minister of Education is taking attention. A number of USE schools now have developed a system of opening up boarding sections.
Yes. Thank you, Honorable Peter Gwang. Minister?
Information I had there.
No, he was already off. No,
Let
you-
me, can I, yes, Mr. Speaker?
Please, Honorable, you
My
know, please, when you see me seated here, never switch on a microphone without my permission. Yeah, because we have to stop somewhere when we are conducting business here. Honorable Minister? No.
First of all, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, Happy New Year. On behalf of the Minister of Education and Sports, I want to thank my colleague, the Shadow Minister for Education and Sports, of capitation grant. I want to say the following. Right Honorable Speaker, permit me to bring the written statement on Thursday to answer on the capitation grant in as far as whether it has been released by Minister of Finance or not, because once they release...
No, Honorable Minister, you're going to burden yourself for nothing. You're going to croak the order paper. You can have a minute, you call your PS from outside, you confirm, and so that I save you a burden of coming to debate here for an hour.
Most obliged, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yes. So whenever you're ready, make a sign to me. But you see, Honorable Seungo, number one, okay, when you are submitting on your issue, you refer to my communication. I never communicated anything regarding education. Huh? And I kept quiet. Number two, you again want to come back on the same. So, okay.
Mr. Speaker, I hid under the new year and the campaigns coming in interest of the children. But Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Minister of Education for his response. And I always talk from an informed point of view. But there is something very serious we must address as a parliament. USE schools are having their students because parents cannot afford fees. And the culture is growing the number of rural schools where schools are opening up boarding sections, charging parents fees. And it is challenging parents. And the Ministry of Education has not come out with a proper statement on who are supposed to attend the boarding section. As I'm talking now, parents are paying over 700,000 in USE schools. And the government is paying 60,000 or 80,000 per student in USE schools. And it has become business. All this we must address it because students are running out of...
Confirm that the capitation grant will be to all schools in the country by Monday next week.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Nsababuturo.
Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, the Committee on East African Community Affairs was tasked to look at, to examine basically the East African Community Mediation Agreement Bill, Mr. Speaker. We've been proceeding well, but we need a bit more time to be able to conclusively put the matter to the end.
How much time do you need? I know you've lost time handling the BFP.
Mr. Speaker, 30 days would be sufficient.
21 days, okay? Can do? Very good. 21 days, Honorable colleagues. I think that's fair. Honorable colleagues, on a sad note, I've also received information that Honorable Frederick Gumengovi, MP Bramoji North West, lost his mother yesterday. It's very important that indeed we observe a minute of silence like we did for the
May her soul rest in eternal peace.
Now, I've seen the next time when I'm reading, I will start with the one who died. Because I saw some people being shaken right away. But whoever we rose is a valuable life. Honorable Semuju, matters of national importance.
The government to intervene in the way Dr. Kizza Besigye is being treated in Luzira. We have visited him. At least those of us who belong to the same side with him, we have talked to him, taken food. Now that right has been taken away by the prisons authority. But also when you visit him, last time I was there with the Honorable Mwijuche, Honorable Kamara, they have now put a grass, so he stands behind some grass and there is a microphone. You can't even be sure that you are speaking to him. We don't know why these conditions, because Dr. Wesige is the most imprisoned person under this government. This is the first time that he is being treated like this. What is worrying us, Mr. Speaker, even more, when you deny people food of their choice, because food is also medicine. We have had colleagues who leave Ruzira, including Wesige's brother, and as soon as they leave, they die. Dr. Chiguna and others. We don't know whether it is deliberate that when Dr. Wesige, if he ever leaves, he leaves when his life has been really affected. More worrying, the CDF, General Moses Kainerugaba, announced that Dr. Wesige will be hanged. Mr. Speaker, I did not take the statements of General Moses seriously, but now I do. Why? He said they will go and attack Kenya, they will be in Nairobi. Actually, I thought it was a joke. But Dr. Wesige was kidnapped from Nairobi. We had some other colleagues, 36 kidnapped from Kisumu. For me, I don't need any further evidence that actually, you PDF officers who are here, you must be very careful with what you do. I kept asking, what has he done? My memory took me to Kasese, where he commanded the attack on Rubiri. And I said, is that what Muhoozi was referring to as buffoonery? So I am using that as an illustration to say I take his statements because our colleague needs protection. He said his New Year resolution includes arresting General Weru. I am happy General Weru is here, he hasn't yet been arrested. So, Mr. Speaker, I am saying I take his statements. The other day he said he will arrest the Committee on Defense. Those crowns cannot summon me. And I saw them seated comfortably. The guy has refused to come. So I now take his statement serious. So when he says he wants to hang Dr. Kiza Wesige in May, he said he has actually now shifted it. I don't know whether starving him in Ruzira becomes part of the process, but I want to ask government to tell us, Dr. Wesige was generous. He tweeted President Museveni when they were fighting in Luwero and his family. Why are they paying him by starving him, Mr. Speaker?
Thank you. Honourable Minister for Internal Affairs.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I'm not a clown. But I want to respond to the Honourable Semuju's concerns, especially food, which is a basic right, and I want to say that the family of Dr. Wesige accredited 6 people, and it's only those that are allowed to bring food. We can't extend beyond that one for security reasons. Number two, the place where Dr. Wesige meets visitors is the accredited place for other people to meet visitors. And you speak from a...
But it's not right to lie. The Honorable Mwijuche is here. We went and met Dr. Wesige, even spoke to him. This speaking behind the grass is a new thing. Maybe you don't go to prison. We keep visiting people you have arrested. I was in Kitale, I was in Kigo. I have never spoken to anyone behind the grasses, General Muhoozi. Maybe you live in heaven.
General, is it a new practice? Is it a new... Amrak, I haven't been to Ruzira, so I can't speak from, you know.
Right, Honourable Speaker, what I want to bring out is that it's not targeting Dr. Wesige. It's not discriminating against him. It applies to all the inmates.
So now that's a practice. Yeah, so honorable colleagues, the people in charge of prisons, if they have a way now they are handling prisoners, and it's for all prisoners. Now here, what should I do? on the floor. No. No, I really, colleagues, please. I avoid a situation where we just continue on something rotating. Now, the person, the Honourable Minister in charge of prisons, he has told you that this is how they are treating all prisoners. If there are prisoners who are being treated differently, okay, also it's a matter we should come and handle. But for now, this is not a matter you can resolve on this floor, okay? Honourable Minister's submission has been very clear, and I don't think I can go beyond that. Honourable Zumra.
Yeah, thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I rise on matter of national importance concerning hippopotamus that has been attacking people of Obongi and destroying crops of the community in Obongi. Last year in October, a hippopotamus attacked a man called Sunday Dodo in Yakinemiji Ward in Kenya village. The gentleman was in his field harvesting his crops, and the hippo came out by the names Modesta from Iwafa sub-county, Atimar East village, Iwafa Paris, was again attacked by a hippo that came from the water and attacked him at the landing site because the man is a fisherman. He went fishing. When he came back, landing at the landing site, the hippo attacked him. The young people of Obongi have an association called Obongi Vegetable Growers, where they plant greens, they plant watermelon, cabbages, and all their crops were destroyed by the hippo. So my prayers are that the young people who have been growing vegetable and their crops are being destroyed, I am seeking the Ministry of Disaster to help them with seeds, whereby they can also plant it again, and Ministry of Agriculture. Secondly, my second prayer is that UWA should intervene into that matter. Because we don't have a field office for UWA in Obongi, the field office we have is in Adjumani. Whenever such matters happen, we call UWA officials, they don't respond. So far, this Modesta man is in Yumbe General Referral Hospital, undergoing treatment, but the one leg has been chopped by the hippo. So meaning he has become so far a disabled man who can no longer be resourceful in his family. I am also praying that UWA should come into rescue of these people who have been affected by the hippo, because they are going treatment and they also have other things to do. And the UWA people are not responding to.
Thank you. Now, for hippos, are they from, Antepas, are they from the national parks? Because they are from water, under which ministry?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, we want to say sorry for the people who have been affected out of the conflicts between human beings and animals. Just to inform this House that the Minister of Tourism will be informed if they have not been informed.
I should be able to help coordinate. No, Minister for Disaster Preparedness, we need seedlings.
Right Honourable Speaker, the Ministry of Disaster doesn't supply seedlings. However, I will coordinate with my counterpart, the Minister for Agriculture. Maybe they'll be able to address. What we can do as Minister of Disaster is that if we have people in that community affected, a big number, the CAO can provide a report and request for relief food items and non-food items, and we'll be able to provide. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Minister. Nathan Byanyima.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I have one important case, but I would want to advise, much as you are talking about the budget, I am at a loss when all these members don't have copies of budget framework paper. They don't have it. They don't. You can't read that book on iPad. You are supposed to have a copy so that me, if I'm in works, I can look at the water, I look at the electricity, and we compare notes. Those copies should be available to each member. 2, since rationalization, our roads are in a bad state. Not because of the minister or the ministry, but because of money. If we have to have any little money, let's have an emergency money for the roads. If you still need these members to come back here, the roads must be worked on. And the ministry must be given money. We cannot have a stopover, relax on it. You can relax on anything, but not on the roads. I have always said here that, for example, people are looking for places for their children in private schools, and people will go to school. Health people, you can go to health centers, private ones, but for roads, station. So I think this parliament, we must get money and have these roads done. There was a road between Gayaza to Karaji. Some of us here never knew about Karaji. But that road was very important going to Jinja. Currently, there is no maintenance on the road. Even people who used to pass, who take a shortcut, can no longer go there because of the what? The bad road. Even Mabere itself needs reconstruction because of lack of maintenance. So I pray to you, Mr. Speaker, that you resolve that money should be available to Minister of Works, and because there is no machine in this country now on Uganda roads.
Thank you.
So I appeal that we should do something in order to save members of parliament and save the country. I thank you.
Honourable Minister, the General is here himself.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to thank Honorable Byanyima for raising this matter. Unfortunately, on the bench, the Minister of Finance is not here. This is a matter which is on his desk. We have raised the red flag because I've also even appealed that we should not start new projects because even the ones we are running are not being properly funded. So I think it's a matter which Minister of Finance will have to talk to. But as of now, I have the energy, I have the drive, but I don't have the means. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Minister, do you think if we complete the process of transferring the funds under RAPEX, you think that will, is it the one delaying them from what they are telling you, or even now they can give you money?
Right Honourable Speaker, it's not the first time we are talking about it. I've raised this even in my Committee of Infrastructure. Attracts on average about 280 million every day as interest. Now, two things must be done. One, retire that debt for the contractors to continue working. Two, move the votes, the money of the votes of UNRWA and Road Fund into the ministry. If we do that, then work will continue as usual. But just wanted to respond to Honorable Byanyima. Karaji, I've put there now a unit. We have a unit which is working in Karaji. The one which worked in Mabira, we are doing something. We are not rehabilitating the whole road, but we are addressing the bad spots on Karaji, between Gayas and Karaji, just like what we did in Mabira. Thank you.
So, honourable colleagues, we expect on Thursday we should complete the process of transfer of money which was for entities affected by the RAPEX into, I mean the report, because the motion is very clear, okay? Those ones which are under the motion. So on Thursday, I hope we can complete that process and we continue. But, Honourable Minister, General, you know, Honourable Minister, have you really proposed to maybe the minister to consider an infrastructure bond? Because it is much cheaper, and that's how other countries are doing. And for example, in Kenya, in fact, the infrastructure bond is exempted from tax, you know, and it's very attractive, and they are getting money much cheaper. It's really painful to have contractors who are not paid. You're suffocating the banks. You're suffocating, you're killing our own. And then after killing this contractor, Honorable Saro Pendi.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I rise on the issue of the senior education officers in this country. In February 2020, there was an advert placed by the Education Service Commission inviting teachers to apply for position of senior education officer. A number of teachers applied. The shortlist was made. The interviews done, both oral and written, and the successful candidates were issued letters of appointment. Right Honorable Speaker, after issuing these teachers with letters of appointment by the Ministry of Education, they were actually posted to various schools. Some of the schools are actually in my district. But Right Honorable Speaker, what is shocking is that to date, these teachers were education officers at U4. Now, as senior education officers, they were supposed to earn U3 salary. To date, Right Honorable Speaker, these teachers have been moving in the corridors of Ministry of Education, Public Service, and they have never, their salaries have never been changed from the U4 to U3. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to find out from the Minister of Education, what exactly is going on? Why do you advertise, appoint, post, and then fail to give these teachers the salary that they actually deserve?
Thank you.
I need answers, Right Honorable Speaker, from the Minister of Education over this matter.
Honourable
They've even
Minister.
written, I saw one of the
Honourable Minister.
some time back was written.
Honourable Minister.
Well, first of all, Right Honorable Speaker, thank you so much, and I would like to begin by thanking my colleague for asking such a good question. I want to confirm in 2022, in terms of the implementation of the scheme of service, Education Service Commission did recruit 154 education officers. Right Honorable Speaker, with the appointment letters we issued to them. So I want to confirm to my colleague, the Minister of Education and Sports and Minister of Public Service are following up this matter urgently to resolve it and have these teachers paid. I thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, but Honourable Minister, you know, it is against the law to commit government without funds. And by issuing appointment letters, you committed government that these people, and this is a statutory obligation. It's not something for negotiating, lobbying, and all that. So are you going to pay their arrears? Because?
Right Honorable Speaker, I want to say the following. The officers were issued appointment letters and posting instructions, but there was no salary increment for the promoted staff. This arose out of the salary staffing structure, which are not being included. However, the Education Service Commission did include this in terms of the structure, and that is now where we are discussing with the Ministry of Public Service. And I want to confirm the following. That, Mr. Speaker, sir, you asked the question of arrears.
No, please, let's give the minister a chance.
Mr. Speaker, sir, you asked the question of arrears. We all know it's an entitlement for all staff as long as you've been issued with appointment letter. So you've worked, you have the appointment letter. Why shouldn't you be paid these arrears? That's money which these teachers are entitled to. What we are now following up is for us with Ministry of Public Service, have this money properly budgeted, and these teachers be paid. I thank.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, Committee of Education, I know you're handling the issue of recruitment of teachers under your committee. I don't think you've concluded. Honorable James, whom are you talking to?
I was talking to you, but I was... So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I was informing the House. I was informing the House that we have already rescheduled. We are beginning on 27th with the petitioners, the Minister of Education, the Minister of Public Service.
I've added you another issue.
Yes.
Okay? The issue of teachers who were given appointment letters,
yes,
but their salary was not adjusted to reflect the appointment they had got.
Thank you very
okay?
much, Mr. Speaker.
So please, Clerk, you help extract it very well for the chair and ensure the chair addresses that issue very well. Honorable Nsegumire.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I raise a matter on escalating garbage management in the city. Right Honourable Speaker, if you move around the city, there is a lot of heaps in the city. Garbage heaps. Even they are blocking some roads in the city. I'd like the Minister, Right Honourable Speaker, I would like the Minister of Kampala City, I'd like the Minister of Kampala to come and address this issue. Otherwise, please take it.
Not on matters of national importance. You know our practice, honorable colleagues. Matters of
Right,
national
Speaker,
importance.
allow me read my prayers.
No, that has to be a submitted statement.
Okay.
And we upload it on the system.
Okay, Right, Speaker.
You have them in your head.
Right, Speaker, I would like the Minister of Kampala to come and address this issue, because it is escalating and it is a problem. It's blocking everywhere. You find roads in markets. I beg to submit, Right, Speaker.
Honorable Narima, you wanted to...
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I already also sees in Wakiso, whoever has a small portion can allow to dispose garbage there. So it's really a very big problem. And now to make matters worse, now local governments in Wakiso are no longer consulted. And to Mr. Speaker, when we are talking about garbage, we can't also forget that compensation for Chitezi people is still pending. That's also a matter that needs to be followed
Thank you.
up.
No, I will ask the Minister for Kampala next week to come and update this House in the same. Honorable Kwizera, finally.
Right Honourable Speaker, thank you very much. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to raise an issue of national importance where there is a government policy that in each and every sub-county there should be a government-aided secondary school. In Buchimbiri, we have 4 sub-counties and we don't have secondary schools government-aided. Secondly, now we find that yesterday they released a list of seed secondary schools. Now the point which I'm asking, what is the criteria and what is the qualification of one school becoming a seed school? Because you find in some districts you find one district having about 5 or 2 schools, seed schools, when in other areas we don't have. I would wish the minister to put it clear when the government will implement the policy of a secondary school in each sub-county and the qualifications for one to qualify or not qualify for a city school, because it has become for either politics or who knows who. I thank you.
Honourable Minister, I saw there is a new vision. I don't know whether number 1 it is accurate. Number 2, how one district can have 5 schools when another one has 0.
Constructions are taking place in your respective sub-counties. In terms of the lists which appeared in the newspaper yesterday, my Right Honourable Speaker, I want to say the following. I cannot deny nor confirm, but permit me to bring the official list to this House so that it is a list I own as the Minister responsible for education and sports. Thereafter, I will answer questions specific on how I went to Kachumbala, I went to Ruchiga, I went to Moyo, I went to Kasanda. I will answer when I have the list with me once my statement is ready. I thank you,
Honourable
Right
Minister,
Honourable
when
Speaker.
do you want to bring that list?
Right Honourable Speaker, can I do it on Thursday, sir?
Okay.
I thank
Thursday
you because
granted.
tomorrow.
Thursday granted.
Yes, thank you so much.
Next
Right Honourable
item.
Speaker.
Item 3 on the other papers, statements by ministers on 1 expired Uganda national IDs.
Honourable Minister for Internal Affairs.
Right Honourable Speaker, honourable members, this is a statement regarding the expiry of Ugandan national identification cards. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable members, I present this statement in relation to the expired Ugandan national identification cards in order to provide clarity on the measures taken by the ministry to address this issue. Members, physical identification cards are subject to wear and tear over time due to regular use. An expiry date allows Persons Act, Cap 332.
Procedure.
Mr. Speaker, I had thought that these changes were meant to protect the Speaker. The way the Honorable Gwanga has run, even jumped barricades. So the procedural issue I am raising, Mr. Speaker, is whether colleagues must not be educated that the new changes actually are meant you simply can't go and begin interacting with the Speaker like the Minister of Education was doing.
Thank you. I can see you're very attentive, Honourable Semuju, watching closely. They were, of course, meant for wrong people, and Honourable Peter is not one of them. He made for me a sign that he needed to share with me something. So when you need to come here, you need first make a sign, and then I judge you, I say. Because some of you look at me with threatening eyes, eh? So that I'm able to know whether you're dangerous or not, okay? Like chances of allowing Honourable Semuju are very minimal when he wants to come here.
Right Honourable Speaker, I was actually worried that when the Honourable Akol kept standing, but I think he has left. That said, Right Honorable Speaker and the honorable members, we had reached data accuracy and currency. Over time, personal details such as physical appearance, addresses, and contact information may change. An expiry date encourages citizens to update their information periodically, ensuring that NERA maintains an accurate and up-to-date database. Where of the ROPA provides that NERA shall observe general accepted information security practices and procedures and specific industry or professional rules and regulations. Document 9303, International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO Machine Readable Travel Documents, MRTD 8th edition 2021 Part 9, provides the deployment of biometric identification and electronic storage of data in MRTDs, section 2.2, provides for the validity period of these documents under which identification cards fall, which is 10 years. This therefore aligns Uganda with international standards and facilitates the use of the national identification card for cross-border travel and other international purposes. Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, Section 695 of the ROPA imposes a duty on NERA to renew expired IDs upon application by the holders. In addition to Regulation 23 of the ROPA, of the regulations, it requires that holders of national IDs apply to NERA for renewal at least 2 months before the expiry. The expiry of a national identification card does not, under any circumstances, amount to expiry of a person's citizenship. Because this has been a repeated worry, so we need to amplify it for the public to know. Section 695 of the Registration of Persons Act makes this clear, and Section 682 affirms that an individual's national identification number is prima facie evidence of citizenship. The NIN is a lifetime number which remains valid until the demise of the ministry engaged with the sister Ministry of East African Affairs and that of Foreign Affairs to signal the other EAC member states about this provisional time-bound measure. Our aim is to secure acceptance of this interlude measure of extended IDs for travel purposes within the region. Nonetheless, we are also soon starting the mass enrollment and renewal exercise, albeit slightly later than earlier planned, but nevertheless still within the stipulated time, to renew all the expired national identity cards and also enlist fresh eligible entrants on the National Identity Information Register. I wish to inform this House that NERA is actively developing new technological advancements to enhance the National Security Information System and improve the security features of our National Identification Card before the commencement of the mass enrollment exercise. The long-term plan, because this has been also a query by the public, is to introduce EIDs with no expiry, a measure that will save costs and reduce the inconvenience associated with mass physical card renewals. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, the extension of the validity period by an extra period of 1 year provides the necessary time frame to integrate these upgrades into the renewal process, as well as mitigate any of the arising inconveniences regarding service delivery before renewal, thus improving the overall functionality and security of the system and the cards. The extension, therefore, is a provisional stopgap measure and not a substitute for new national identification cards. Right Honorable Speaker and members, I will assure you that the Ministry of Internal Affairs is committed to ensuring that the identity and rights of Ugandan citizens are protected and upheld. The Ministry shall continue working tirelessly to ensure a smooth mass renewal and mass enrollment exercise of the national identification cards. I beg to submit, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues, this is a straightforward statement. I'll just pick 2 from NRM, 1 from opposition, 1 independent. Okay? Honorable Megade, Honorable Baziri.
Right Honorable Speaker.
And I'll also pick 1 party president in Honorable Basari.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I rose on a procedural matter. Right Honorable Speaker, it's a...
Oh, you rose on procedure or you're
Yes.
debating?
Procedure.
Well,
Yes,
you're already on the
procedure.
microphone. I thought you.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for your understanding. Right Honorable Speaker, it's a rare occasion having three sector ministers attending plenary. But last week, on this same floor, I raised the matter of national importance. And it was to do with the piracy on the lake, whether some of our people actually killed, boat engines stolen on a daily basis. From the time I raised that matter, it also happened yesterday, it happened last week, and the minister, State Minister for Defense, undertook to send a team on ground to assess this. I raised the same matter with the Minister of Defense, who is also in attendance. I raised the same matter with the Minister of Internal Affairs, and since then, no officer has appeared in Buvuma to assess this. And Right Honorable Speaker, I know it is a duty of the Minister of Internal Affairs and the police to keep law and order, but also for the Minister of Defense to ensure that the national borders are really safe. We have a sub-county where these issues are actually happening, borders Uganda and Tanzania. Our prayer remains the same. We want the relevant ministers and agencies to go on the ground and really assess the situation and see how our people are really assisted. So now that they are here, I really want commitment from them that effective tomorrow, such occurrences will not occur.
Yes, Honorable Reru Huda. Honorable Kabusi, you want to open up this matter? Because just Honorable Minister, let me allow the two members from the fishing community. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I was saying it's not only a Buvuma issue, but the fishing communities, Mr. Speaker, suffer the same problem. I would suggest, Honorable Minister, Mr. Speaker, that the 3 or 4 ministries, the one of East African Community Affairs, the one for security, the one for defense and internal affairs, have maybe a joint task force to address this. Have a joint task force to address this. All of us who represent constituencies that border other countries in the lake, our people are insecure. For them on their side, Mr. Speaker, they have means to protect their people. But ours in these waters of our communities, we don't have security for our people. They take engines and the boats and the fishermen of our people can't chase them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the issue of piracy on the water is a serious issue. And sometimes when we ask the commanders down there, they raise the question of fuel. Our people on this side are little facilitated as compared to the other one. And sometimes you find that the pirates have got bigger engines, they move faster, and when our people go in to intercept, they don't have the capacity. So actually it is a serious issue that should be addressed squarely by the Minister of Internal Affairs, the Minister of Defense, and the Minister of East Africa, because it is an issue and is affecting the economy of our people, the fishing community.
Thank you. Karangara?
They're always clad in army uniform. Mr. Speaker, army uniform. And they also have guns and machetes. So, yes. So we would want the minister to explain to us the UPDF uniform. Yes, and also police uniform, Mr. Speaker. It is happening between Mazinga sub-county, Bobeke, Chamuswa, and Bufumira. All these islands in Sese or Kalangala. Mr. Speaker, we all know that we have the UPDF on the lake to guard or man the lake in the fishing sector. If they can have guns to man the lake or the fish, why not secure the people who actually make money to pay them. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Minister. Sorry. Honourable Pachuto is the same. I know you have a rake on your side. You still have also problems?
Yes, thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, and Happy New Year, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, about 3 of my sub-counties border the DRC, and we have the same problem, the fishing communities, because there is no clear cut where the border is on the water. You find that there are people who come from Congo and confiscate their nets, they confiscate the engines. But for me, in my case, it's not about the men in uniform. The people from Congo come and confiscate, and they charge them a lot of money. Our RDCs have tried to even go into Congo to negotiate with the other people on the other side. But the support from the central government is a bit limited, and this continues to reoccur. I'm very happy for my colleague that has brought this on.
Osemuju, but I didn't qualify it, so it can, once you read the answer plainly, when I was saying that for him he cannot come near me here. So it should be recorded by the answered team that was on the right note. Otherwise it can remain an official record of Parliament that Honorable Semuju cannot come near the Speaker. It's a dangerous character. Okay? Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, indeed, the members of Parliament from the Lakes raised the issue, and I had committed in this House that our security officers will act, and indeed I have informed them they have prepared to act. Yes, they have prepared to act, and soon, Honorable, I was going to call you and give you a day so that we would have a meeting with them at the site. But now I'm more impressed by the proposal that has been brought by Honorable Kabusu, that this issue needs inter-ministerial committee. So I'm now committing that, Mr. Speaker, I will relate to PM, the Prime Minister of this country, so that she coordinates all these ministries and we handle the issue holistically. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's resume. Honorable Megada, I had allowed him thinking we were going to debate, so I'll pick another one on the NRM side. I'll pick, may I allow someone who represents the young people also, who are and Honorable Edakas, I'll also pick you. So Honorable Taringa.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. I want to thank the Honorable Minister of Internal Affairs for the elaborate statement about the national ID. Number one, yesterday while attending a funeral, this question was posed to me, especially for people who take loans now that these national identity cards have expired. It is good that at least this national ID is still very operational in time as proposed. A non-expiring identity card is taken up. In the same vein, the same ministry is charged with birth certificates. Now, birth certificates in the past used to be issued at sub-counties. Now people have to travel to districts, to the offices of NIRA. Now, they travel and sometimes the documents are not ready. And the students, some of them don't have this money to travel back and forth. So as a result, it becomes too costly to obtain a birth certificate. And therefore, I pray that one of the issues that is handled is how to decentralize again how birth certificates are obtained with little investment by our local people. I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
I thank the Minister for the statement about the national IDs, but we all know that national IDs are essential for accessing services and also conducting business, as well as establishing identity and credibility. So many young people and actually millions of Ugandans are being affected by this issue, the expiration of national IDs. And I'm also a victim because very many parents have been denied birth certificates for their children because their national IDs, their NIN numbers are expired. So you cannot obtain or get birth certificates for the child. So my request is, this issue...
Thank you. Honourable Ministers, you come. I just want to know, when you say you extended, also did you take advantage of the software you have to indeed adjust the dates online, so that if I'm scanning, it doesn't just show expired. Otherwise, this original ID, you're reading from the chip, okay? So the chip is connected to a software. I just go, I adjust on the date to allow up to this period. Otherwise, I don't understand when people say that indeed, when they try to scan, it shows that it's expired. That's a software issue, which should easily be handled. Haji?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, and we appreciate the statement of the Minister. Right Honourable Speaker, remember very well this Parliament appropriated money for purposes of NIRA carrying out a mass enrollment or renewal. In the statement of the Minister, it is lacking how far they have gone and when we are expecting that mass enrollment or mass renewal. Remember, it was first scheduled for July, and then it was extended for January, this January. As we talk now, there is no clear program, and as you are aware, EC and NIRA, they are working hand in hand. And that is one of the issues which has been complained by members. One kit of NIRA has been distributed per sub-county. So it is hard to handle the registration of people, which is ongoing right now, because it is only one kit per sub-county. What is the clear deadline when we are expecting the mass renewal or mass registration of the people, since the money was long released? Thank you.
Right Honourable Speaker, and the issue I would like to raise is the different government agencies' failure to work together to come up with solutions for our people. For example, Right Honourable Speaker, we have just had a census conducted by UBOS. Now we have registration being done by NIRA. Then the Electoral Commission is also updating the register, the voters register. If all those agencies could come together and we have the same information, because we are talking about the same people, same Ugandans, we wouldn't be having so many challenges. As raised by Honorable Basil, the registration of birth and death is, I don't know if it is being done, because if it was being done, then that information would be readily available. Right, Honourable Speaker, imagine an era where we are in analog and our people were registered in the books at the sub-county. Even today, an old person of 60 years can go to the sub-county and find there their details, the date of birth. If someone died, they would register them. Why wouldn't we do e-registration and then we have things online so that I don't have to come to Kampala or to move from Ruchiga to Kabale district to look for an era office to put there my details. Finally, Right Honourable Speaker, the matter I want to raise is about the expiry, because the minister says it is a long-term objective. Why don't we do it right now? Is what is lacking software to do that, so that we understand if during this budget process we can give him money to procure a software where all the people can be registered and then the data is captured, so that it is seamless. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Dakas, finally, I chose the people already, Honorable Alexander.
Thank you.
Oh, and I had allowed the president. Yeah.
Thank you. Who are facing a greatest challenge. First of all, because of distance, they can't access the services even when they are available. But also, there's a lot of competition for just the service. Every time that machine is available for registration, the young people will take advantage, and the older people can't access. And some of them cannot even move. So if the machine could be availed and goes to the parish, or if during those days of registration, like now when we're going for mass registration, if we could avail like a day when these older people come, for instance, for their SAGE allowances, they would be able to be registered as older people. The same applies. Right now, I think Electoral Commission has done a great effort to try and map out both the disabled in every parish. But those disabled people cannot move to look for where the machines are. I think if there was an affirmative action from NIRA to make sure that those older people and the weak are targeted, because they can't access all the other services. And then the other is that I don't know what's wrong. Sometimes either by change of age or what, the biometrics seem to be affected. I have people who have a right identity card, but they cannot register a SIM card. When they are taking their fingerprints, they don't match what is there. And I don't know how to answer that. Thank you.
In fact, that's the same issue Honorable Chiboga was raising here with me. Because he said especially women who are digging and all those people who are in the digging. No, washing clothes cannot do. Yes. That can't you have another method beyond thumbprint and what? Can't you have another method captured on the ID? Mr. No, please, I mentioned the members who are going to speak on this.
Mr. Chairman,
in Parliament, we don't deal with peculiar matters. And
Right on Speaker, I want to thank you.
You banned peculiar gadgets around, so.
And
so
I want to thank
statements.
the Minister for the statement. Right on Speaker, 3 issues. Number one, on the issue of expiry, we are finding ourselves in to provide continuous registration services without necessarily setting expiry dates. You are now finding ourselves in a very big dilemma, right on Speaker. Even the 1-year extension, and it was gazetted, there was a statutory instrument. Even the 1-year extension, there is a very big likelihood that the mass registration will not commence within that period. And what that means is that the minister will again give another extension. So I want to propose, Minister, that instead of setting your deadlines at 10 years, you could consider extending or setting a deadline that will not be problematic in terms of implementation. Because this parliament gave you that authority under the ROPA regulations that you are quoting. Secondly, right on Speaker, there is another challenge. You will come to mass registration and the like. A minister issued regulations making it an offense not to register under those regulations. But he didn't put into consideration the fact that sometimes failure to register is on their part. I want to request, right on Speaker, that this fine of 40,000 that you put in the regulations should be scrapped. Because, as we have seen even with the Electoral Commission, just with the NIRA, sometimes the difficulty comes from your part, your machines become faulty, in some places the human resource is not there. This burden should not be visited on the wananchi. So I want to propose, Minister, that under Regulation 23 of the ROPA, where you are putting a fine of 40,000 shillings, you still have the mandate that fine should be scrapped to give people opportunity to register, and as a matter of policy, registration should be a continuous process. I thank you, right on Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Minister, you had promised to, I remember it was last time when we were talking about recruitment of the officers to help in this exercise. Many of the people who applied are in the public just waiting. What's going on, Honourable Minister? And when are you registering Aryans? I'm told there is an issue of Aryans
Right Honourable Speaker, maybe could I run through
Sure.
the questions of members? Starting with the Honourable Bataringa, I think I concur with him. But point taken, Honourable Bataringa, our idea is to be reachable, and I take your point and concern. Honourable Chirabo talked about the same issue, more or less, decentralization. But I want to correct her that NINs don't expire, because she mentioned that identification numbers expire. They don't. What expires is the physical card. The Honourable Speaker talked about whether the Right Honourable Speaker, whether we adjusted the software or only did the legal aspect of extension. Unfortunately, we did the latter. We didn't adjust the software to synchronize it with the adjustment in the time frame legally. And that is the problem this is causing to us as the members are complaining. Right Honourable Chiwanuka, mass enrollment and renewal, when is it starting? Indeed, this House appropriated money for the exercise. I want to report that the processes are ongoing. Equipment is now in country. Training is taking place on that new equipment. People are recruited, and actually we used them a little bit in the mop-up exercise for the people we thought would make 18 by 2026 in schools. I think you had members saying, what is NIRA doing in schools? We wanted to catch up so that we don't lose that time to wait for mass enrollment. For now, Honorable Chiwanuka, we don't want to confuse the public. For you to do updates and then start enrollment. The EC said, first hold your exercise, we finish the updates, and then start on mass enrollment. But we are going to begin. As promised, you gave the money, and we must deliver, Honorable Chiwanuka. The Honorable Ndiomjenyi, why don't we work in a concerted way as government? Yes, UBOS, EC, NIRA, but these are different outputs. UBOS doesn't take fingerprints, they just count people. EC is fed by NIRA. So I want members to understand the functions of each of these institutions and what they do and how they complement each other. The transition from physical to...
The point from Honorable Chiwanuka. If you train people to go and do enumeration, they can be the same people who will do registration. Right now, the people who are doing registration actually is not electoral commission, it is actually NIRA, but helping electoral commission, because I've asked them and they have told me that you're going to pay them and then recall the people, but also recall the equipment. And then tomorrow use the same people and money to redeploy them. I thought that's the point that Honorable Chiwanuka was making. Just do one deployment, train people to do work for all the institutions, then they do it at once.
Thank you, Honorable Semuju. Some of the resources can be shared. I agree with you, like people. Actually, the people who are doing the update are NIRA who are resident in the districts, using the old kit, not the new one, because the new one needs training on them. So we thought it's wise to use the old kit, using NIRA people to help EC. And indeed, I think some of these costs can be rationalized and shared, like the Honorable Ndiomjenyi and Chiwanuka said, and later complemented by Honorable. Transition when? Why not now? Why not later? Now, of course, we are going to do, hopefully, what will be the last physical ID mass enrollment. Money is already spent. The processes are ongoing. So certainly we can't transition to the e-system. But also there are other factors. The country is mainly still, many people don't have smartphones. Internet access is limited. So all those factors, I think, need to be taken care of before we finally shift to the digital ID. But I hope and believe that this will be the last physical card renewal and enrollment exercise this country undertakes. Then Honorable Edakas, creation, the problem we are facing, why not more than 10 years? 10 years is international practice, Honorable Asumani, and we don't want to be the deviant in the room, but also we think this will be the last time that this is happening. And I want to lay the fears of members. We shall start mass enrollment before the 1-year extension expires. The failure to register, that is an administrative issue which we can review. It's not cast in stone, and I think we can look at it and then take action.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Next item.
Item 3.2, statement of the progress of prepayment meter yaka upgrade.
Honourable Minister for Energy.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I'm going to give progress on the prepaid meter yaka upgrade in the country. Right, Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, on January 5th, 2024, I informed the nation of the upcoming mandatory software upgrade of the prepayment electricity meters we use in our homes, industries, and all those businesses that we have. The notification issued at the media center followed a global announcement by the Global Standards Transfer Specification, STS, Association, that all STS prepayment meters will be affected by the token identifier rollout on 24th November 2024, and therefore would stop accepting new tokens on 24th November 2024 unless upgraded. This issue stemmed from expiry of the current token identifier, which had been issued to electricity distribution companies in Uganda. UMEME and UEDCL have embarked on upgrading electricity meters using key change tokens on every meter to extend their vending life to 2045. I'm pleased to provide an update on the progress of this exercise. I'm happy to inform the House that electricity distribution companies have achieved a significant progress, as I will highlight. About 2.2 million customers have successfully upgraded their meters, representing 95.5% of the connected businesses or household for both UMEME and UEDC customers combined. However, there are some service providers that have attained 100%. Such companies are Kalangala Infrastructure Project and Wenereko, who are supplying West Nile. B, as of early January 2025, 108,758 UMEME customers and 17,122 UEDCL customers had not yet completed the upgrade of their meters. So that's where there is a problem. There are those who have not actually heeded to the advice. And the reason for this could be one, unoccupied rental properties. Two, unoccupied homes upcountry. 3, homeowners currently abroad from this. And other circumstances, such as deceased property owners, properties under sale, or legal dispute. Efforts to ensure 100% token identifier rollover. To assist customers in the upgrade, electricity distribution companies took the following steps. 1, deployment of technicians to help those who cannot actually upgrade their meters because maybe of literacy or something like that. We have deployed our technical persons to help. 2, enhanced communication efforts. We have repeatedly made announcements on social media, on radios, and even SMS messages are being sent to notify the customers, and some of the customers heading to their device. Now, how to check if your prepayment meter is upgraded or not? Customers were also guided on how to check if their meters were upgraded, and this how to do it. 1, for customers using Inhemet Y-Zone XJ prepayment meters, you press 873 and press enter. 01 means not upgraded. If you get a response, 01, it means your meter is not upgraded. If it is 02, it means upgraded. Customers who are using Conlong, you press hash 0 upgraded. And if it is R2, T2, 10, it means you are upgraded. 3, for hexing, Itron, and chained prepaid meters, you press 873 and you enter, press enter. 01 means not upgraded, and 02 means you are upgraded. 4, for Sansing and Sunrise prepaid users, you press 005 and press enter. 01 means not upgraded. 02 means you are upgraded. 5, for Realin prepaid users, you press 011 and press enter. 01 means not upgraded, and 02 means upgraded. 7, a sample of the adverts run by Electricity Authority, Regulatory Authority, complement the distribution company's effort in showing how you can access and test whether your meters are upgraded or they are not upgraded. These have been published in media, but you can also get to the website of ERA and you will get it, but it's in a picture form here, and this report is available. You can actually get guidance from that publication. Status of the newly acquired prepaid meters. Issue guidelines to customers on how to check the status of these new meters. Installation of Umeme new billing systems. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, allow me to update you on the new billing system being installed by Umeme to enable us prepare for the additional 1 million new customers. You know that our target is to get 1 million customers on board. We are actually going to provide guidelines how to do it. My ministry, through Electricity Regulatory Authority, approved the investment towards the installation of a new national electricity distribution billing system for both prepaid and postpaid vending environment at a budget estimate of $4.281 million. The installation, commissioning, and testing of the new national electricity distribution billing system is complete, and we are now in the rollover period. The rollout had earlier caused some intermittencies in the subscriber timely issuance of tokens. And these ones are even happening now. Even yesterday, one of the honorable ministers actually asked what was happening, the Minister of Defense. And this has since been overcome, but we still occasionally, like the Minister of Defense, actually spent a weekend in darkness because the system did not comply. Since the new billing system is still under warranty, any identified anomalies and all losses are borne by INDRA through MINSAIT, its implementing arm, as the service provider. So there is no losses.
But Honourable Minister, I really want to understand. The statement you gave me is different from what you are reading. Because when you submit a statement in my office and we approve it, it's the one you should read. The moment...
I'm very sorry, Right Honourable Speaker. I actually insisted on bringing out, especially the new installed
No, you're
system.
reading. You're reading,
I'm
Honourable
actually reading
Minister. No, it's all you're reading. The statements are... Conclude. Just let's conclude. If you have a new statement,
yes,
I will need it so that we can capture it on the answer very well and on record, okay? Yes, Commissioner?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. When you look at the statement that is uploaded, it is partially uploaded. So actually what the minister is reading is half uploaded, half not. So we don't have most of the parts. So is it procedure right for the statement to continue? Because we cannot follow.
Honourable Minister, the statement you have is signed by who?
I actually signed it.
Yes. So your ministry submitted a statement signed by the minister, senior minister. Okay?
Yeah.
And with the letter asking me to put it on order paper. So this confusion is what I'm trying to... So what we are doing, okay, I'm going to allow you so that on record the statement we have is that one which you're reading, and we upload it later, but kind of conclude with it. Just let me be flexible, but it is...
So, thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. The updated one was actually sent today, and unfortunately I think that one was uploaded. So allow me to complete, and then we can submit a full statement. The new billing system, the Utility Customer Information System, consolidates a number of systems which shall further optimize operations. I also want to appreciate the cooperation of the customers who completed the update. And I'm issuing this statement on behalf of the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. So, Honourable colleagues, I'm going to open up. Honourable Muroni, Honourable Nzima, former chair. Then here, I'll pick Kasanda, Nabagabe. No, Honourable Roland, take your seat for now. Engineer Barimwezo, Sekabira, Sewanyana. Honourable Basil, first take your seat. I will see.
Thank you very much.
I'll first speak those ones who haven't spoken, whom I hadn't given an opportunity.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Minister for the presentation. While the Minister is updating us on the upgrade of the prepayment system, and he has also indicated the effort to ensure that over 1 million people are connected. I'm wondering whether the issue of the meters themselves being in stock is an issue or not, because a case in point, I have my people in Bulambuli who applied for electricity connection in May last year, but up to now, they are not yet connected. I'm wondering, is it the case for the free connection policy, which is not being done, and maybe for him to comment with all this that is happening, I hope we are well prepared for the transfer from UMEME to UEDCL, so that issues of metering, people are connected, and there is a smooth transition of the service. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Nzima.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to raise an issue in relation to the statement, and I also want to thank the Minister for the statement. He has mentioned that the target is over 1 million people. In some of our constituencies, poles and wires have been extended. It is more than 6 years. These are not being connected, and we are put under massive pressure by the voters. If you tell them that government has extended power to them, they will tell you they have not seen the power you are talking about, because they only see the polls. So I wanted to inquire, the over 1 million people who will be connected he is talking about, does it include those areas where people are not being connected? Because these wires are just there. It doesn't make any sense to people. When they are there, they are not connected. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Tara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues, I would like to begin by thanking the Minister for his statement, but I have 2 clarifications that I'm seeking from the Minister. One, regarding the free connection, which has been going on. Mr. Speaker, I've received a number of complaints from my area, those who applied for the fill, because whenever people go to UMEME, they are told, you will follow up your issue with the UEDCL. Mr. Speaker, my next issue is, now that the Minister is talking about upgrade, while I was chair, I came to learn that the previous connections of UMEME was not done properly according to the technical people in the electricity sector, and that UMEME was actually, through their connection, they were fleecing Ugandans of a lot of money. And this is one of the issues that I left pending for the incoming leadership to investigate and come up with a report on whether indeed UMEME did a connection that was fleecing Ugandans.
Honorable, you gave assignments on behalf of Parliament as you are leaving.
Right, Honorable Speaker.
Please go on, go on.
That was my handover report to my successor.
No, well done.
Yes,
yeah,
thank you, thank you. That was my pending issue that the new leadership needed to investigate and find out whether it is true that the way UMEME connected the earthing wire was done in such a way that it was fleecing Ugandans of a lot of money, so that before they leave the scene, they actually make good and pay the Ugandans all that amount of money that they have fleeced. But I did not hear the Minister talk about that connection vis-a-vis the new connection. If it is UMEME still again connecting the new meters, then which means Ugandans will continue to suffer through that same irregular connection. So I needed the minister to clarify whether he has taken the trouble to investigate whether there was an irregularity in the way the earthing wire was connected, such that it reflected as if you had consumed more units than you actually did. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nabagabe.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, and Happy New Year, everyone. I have two questions, two pertinent issues. The very first one, and now umeme to the that one, UEDCL, yes, that one. So what is the process of upgrading these meters and then the transition process? And finally, my second question is about the grey conlog meters, the old ones, like the ones that some of us still have in our homes, which were reported inaccurate, causing both users and umeme a power loss. These very old meters have been prone to hacking. I hope that you're aware of that. And because they are a one-way tracker, whereas the new ones are a two-way, which are easier to audit. Now, I'm wondering why the government, especially umeme, has not yet enforced the upgrading to avoid these power losses to both, which are eventually both losses to government and to Ugandans that are paying for these taxes. Thank you very much.
Engineer Barimwezo.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. One of my questions has been asked by the Honorable Irene Muloni about the stock, the availability of the meters. My other question is on, there are quite a number of complaints from our people that there is high cost of the upgrade. High cost of the upgrade. Then they also complain of the limited awareness, and robbers have taken advantage of this, particularly during the upgrade. Robbers take advantage because of the limited awareness. So how are you going to handle that?
Honorable Sakabira.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I have two questions. One, I have noted with concern that the prices of the units for Yaka vary from time to time, depending on when you are loading. I would also want the minister to clarify on that issue, because at the beginning of the month, the price is different. In the middle and at the end of the month. That is number one. Number two, now that the opportunity, which is only 40 miles away from Kampala, we have so many parts or so many villages that are not yet connected on the national grid. I would also want the minister to explain that issue, because we need power to better our lives. Thank you very much.
Honorable Koruo, Honorable Sewanyana.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. My question to the minister is that is it because of this upgrade where there are blackouts almost everywhere? My people of Toroma are complaining. They have total blackouts. Maybe it's because of this upgrade. Then too, it is similar to what my brother has asked. The officials from the ministry came to Katakwe district and we mapped all the areas which had no power. But up to now, nothing has been done to take power to those places. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, just to be clear about what Honorable Sekabira hinted on, is about your service fee at every start of the month. I see, Right Honorable Speaker, some cheating here, and our people have been complaining about it for some time. That someone pays for units, and then you tell him or her that there is service fee. So which type of service are they paying for? Because these are meters in their homes, you don't come to do any service on it, but you are calling it service fee, yet they have been paying for units each and every time when power goes off. So this is some kind of cheating, and our people have been complaining. So, so Honorable Minister, you should clarify on that and see whether we can get a solution.
Connections. There are two ways, I think. There is a normal way for doing it, and there is an abnormal one, a private one. They even tell you openly that if you want to wait for the normal way of doing it, you'll wait for years. But I mean, if you can cough this amount of money, which is almost 10 times the normal price, they will connect you. There are people who have waited for years, and they haven't connected them. I don't know whether you are aware of these other categories, the two categories. Two, while Honorable Onjima complained about the poles and the wires, mine is even much more painful actually in Uchero. I have a wire which is just 100 meters from my compound. It has had power for 3 years, but I've applied for just a step-down transformer to have us get power there. It has not been, they have never responded to us. Mr. Minister, the letter even reached your office. I don't know whether you could check into your files and then really see. Just a step down. 3 years, power is on the line, but there is nothing. Thank you.
Honorable Rurume, Honorable Sowed.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I think this, the more of the concerns to the Minister now are in respect of connections. And I have heard members of Parliament mentioning their constituents, respective constituencies, and the processes that have been undertaken in surveying and mapping and coming up with maps which are going to be followed to ensure that people are connected, villages are connected to the grid. The Minister needs to tell us what he has been doing with all the finances that this Parliament has passed, and whether he needs more money, even if it means having a loan. Because when I came here, but up to today, we have not seen anything. So I think because the Minister is being bombarded from each and every constituency, wouldn't it be right, Honorable Speaker, that he comes out with another statement for connectivity, for connection of power to the various areas where mapping and surveying has been done? Thank you.
Sure. That's very important. Honorable Sowed, Honorable Musana, Honorable Feta. Procedure, Honorable Aisha.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I looked the order of business severally and talking about a statement about upgrade of Yaka meters. And the statement was very specific about upgrade of Yaka meters. Several submissions are about connections, about transiting from Umeme to another, about from all different walks of electricity connections. Are we proceeding well to proceed with submissions in other areas? Because some of us have restrained ourselves because we thought we needed to be very specific on the matter on the floor of Parliament.
Thank you. Now, honorable colleagues, I usually become flexible, and you bring me to order, and you are right. So can we go back online? Can we? Okay. So that means, Honorable Minister, the other question is you will capture them under, okay, and under the statement which Honorable Rurume Baiga has proposed that you bring on connectivity. So let's limit ourselves to meters. I wish all of you were like Honorable Aisha. It would be very easy for me. For all those who are not speaking, because they are following, you know. So if it is on these no, Honorable Roland, please. If it is on these meters, connectivity.
Concerning the awareness question, because there are communities that do not have access to this information the Minister is giving us, and the ERA has not done adequate sensitization amongst our people. So the consumers are largely ignorant of this report the Minister is giving us. So I would like the Minister to convince us how this information has been spread wide and to the last electricity user. Right Honorable Speaker, I wish to appeal to members, if you can permit me, because members have moved to the issue of connectivity, the issue of scale up, but we have a challenge of counterpart funding.
But Honorable, you're diverting now. We have said we only stop at this.
I made an appeal, but you were taken up.
No, I didn't allow the appeal.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you. Thank you, Right Honorable
Thank you.
Speaker.
So Chair, when the Chair is handling at committee level, he should be able to address all those issues. Kind of colleagues to come here, you need my permission to come on this table. You don't just walk here. Yeah. So, yes, Honorable Timozago.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I guided you that you need to struggle. Hmm? You struggle, you make for me a sign, and then I can wink at you, but don't make political signs, eh? Don't make political signs. You make a sign, then you can find your way here through another sign that calls you. Okay? Honorable Timozago.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Minister, we are so happy that you are upgrading meters as a ministry. But there is something you have ignored. When we put in our meter numbers as we buy, as we pay for your car, as we buy units, then we have to wait for a token number which is too long. Then we have to use the token number to get power. Yet at the beginning, we use our meter numbers, which UMEME recognizes.
When you load this meter daytime, they say that night when you load, you get more units. And then daytime, you get less. Secondly, also they said if you pay in advance like 50,000 shilling, you get less unit, but you pay installment 10,000 shilling, you get more units. Why do they discriminate? Thank you.
Honorable Gore.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Today I received around 5 emails in regard to meme meters that are not mine. It's a issue method system 2 system offline mode. And I've received 5 emails differently as from domestic taxes department. I don't know how this has come. I suppose it is due to the upgrade. They're asking 9,000, 8,000, 19. I have 5 of them, various like that. I don't have all those meters, but I needed to understand how this comes. I suppose, Right Honorable, that it should be from, because we have never got such a thing.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Bigger, you had an issue.
Yeah, thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, on this floor, we have reason to talk about Obongi severally. Now, if you restrict to speak about meters, Obongi doesn't have a single poll. What should Obongi talk about?
No,
we're asking the minister to respond to Obongi.
No, Honorable, we are discussing a statement under Rule 52 of our Rules of Procedure. Honorable Musana Eric.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to submit on specifically on connectivity, and the meters are not there. What could be the problem?
Thank you.
And yet power is there, and people are not connected to it.
Thank
Minister,
you.
probably the other.
No, Honorable, we are talking about meters, upgrade of meters. Upgrade of meters. Beyond that, please. Honorable Roran.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, when we try to pay, when customers try to pay using mobile money, and it is related to what Honorable Sewanyana was saying, there's a lot of money charged. When I'm paying 100,000, I am charged around 6,000 shillings. Is that money for the ministry or for UMEME? Is it for the telecom service provider? Where does that money go? Secondly, is that money taxed? by URA, because it's a lot of money when you consider the number of customers that are being served. That's a lot of money. Second, Right Honourable Speaker, I think the issue of connectivity cannot be ignored at this time.
Honorable Nyakato, Asinasi, your issue has covered. Is it about upgrade of meters?
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, we can't avoid talking about connectivity.
Honorable Sowed.
This is acrobat.
Colleagues, number one, you know I control the microphone here. So if you can't control yourself, I will control you. If you come and you say we can't avoid doing this, then I help you. Honorable Acrobat.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, it is a little bit tricky. Like in my area, Bugendera, where I do not have poles, I still have stranded projects by
doing it. So they send you a token number, but at a cost. And this is encouraging corruption, because others even hide. After sending the money, somebody hides and does not send the token. So in the meantime, as we upgrade, how should these households, who should be approached for accessing power as they upgrade their meters? Otherwise, that direct linkage with Umeme staff is a corruption tendency.
Yes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Just connected to what Honourable Kiboga has said, in the process of upgrading, I have had many cases where someone pays for Yaka and then the token doesn't come. Then you call several times, then they tell you, okay, what you do, you pay again. When the other one comes, you load. But it never comes. That token never comes. So you pay twice for you to get another token for you to be able to load. Is that part of the arrangement?
Thank you, Honourable Minister. And please, Honour, respond to matters to do with your upgrade of meters. The rest, you will cover them in your statement, which you'll bring here.
I would wish to thank Harriet